Now, what I'm really most excited about is to tell you very briefly this picture. This is the swim start of the Hawaiian Ironman Triathlon in Kona, Hawaii. I'm in there someplace at 7 a.m. in the morning with the sun just coming over the mountain and the church spire in the background. It's a very, very intense experience because you know you have to swim 2.4 miles out into the ocean. You then get on a bike and you ride 112 miles. You get off your bike and run a marathon, partly through Kona and then partly through the steaming lava fields of the Big Island. I did this last year, but I quit. It's a 140.2 mile race. I got to mile 130 and I couldn't do it anymore. I had bleeding feet from blisters. I was hyponatremic. I was dehydrated. My entire body was just imploding. And I was down to walking like this through the darkened, completely darkened lava fields in Hawaii. We had glow bands around our neck so cars wouldn't hit us and other runners could see you. And as I was really looking for an ambulance or a car or something to pick me up and take me back to the medical tent, I heard behind me click, 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 click. And I thought I was delirious. You know, what is this, a horse or what's going on here? And it kept getting closer and closer and closer. Click, 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 click. And now I'm just like this. I feel a hand on my shoulder and a voice says, "You can't quit. Don't quit. You've come too far." And I'm thinking, what is this? You know, just get me out of here. I want to collapse on the pavement. And I couldn't see who it was so dark. And he continued ahead of me with click, 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 kind of going further away from me, the Doppler effect. And just then a car came in the opposite direction and shined its headlights on the body and legs of this individual. And I saw that he had no legs. The lights reflected off of the titanium cheetah scoops and the carbon fiber legs. And I also saw that he had no arm. And I said, my God, you know, if this man can do this, I sure can reach down just a little deeper. So I started to walk, and pretty soon I tried to keep up with the click, click. And 10 miles later, I was able to finish the race in 15 hours and 15 minutes or so. Not the end of the story. The next morning, I got up, starving. I went to a restaurant. As luck and God would have it, I walked into a restaurant, and here sits this individual who I'd never seen before in my life, sitting at a table with his family, with his prosthetic legs on. And I went up to him and I said, "You have no idea who I am. I just want to thank you for inspiring me to finish the race." And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to Rajesh Durbal, my friend, the man I admire almost among all others in the world, and the first triple amputee to ever finish the Hawaiian Ironman Triathlon.
I am Rajesh. I motivate. I inspire. I believe. I dominate. I persevere. I am a force to be reckoned with. This is not about me. This is about being more than just an ordinary man. It's about no excuses. It's about being the best of the best. I train, I sacrifice, I live free.
Please welcome Hawaii Ironman finisher Rajesh Durbal.
How you guys doing? How's everybody? Oh man, it's such an honor to be here tonight, or today, sorry. Long night, gambling. Almost lost my leg at the casino on the blackjack table. It'd have been hard to run down this corridor here, but I won it back, so I'm happy. So, the Ironman journey, it's been a wonderful experience. Dr. Joe Maroon elaborated on it. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more as I change it to something a little bit more appealing, because it's hard to balance, like doing planks while talking, it's hard. So, yeah, my journey is one in itself. It'll take me an entire day to really explain it, but I want to touch on a few topics so you guys can get the concept of what it takes to be the best of the best, what it takes to do that Ironman. For me, it's an emotional journey. I was tearing up in the back there, so if I'm sniffling, it's because of that. I still live it every single day. This is what I do on a normal, everyday basis, training for my Ironman. 20 hours a week, plus a full-time job engineering, and running my company also at the side. So it's a little hard because it's really stuck on. It's vacuum. I'll be able to get it out eventually. So this is what I do every single day in transition, when I'm coming in from races and transitioning into my bike legs or my run legs, as you could see. This is a normal part of life. So passion. Passion is the one key concept that I want to talk about. And in order to do anything in life, you have to be passionate. And passion is what drives the human spirit, which is what I think with GNC and all your clientele that you guys sell on a regular basis, is they're passionate about their life. They're passionate who they are. They're passionate of their bodies being the best. They're passionate about embracing life. They don't just sit back and let life live it for them. They live their life. And that's why they come to you guys to get the products that they need in order to sustain that level of life that they want. So passion is the number one thing that I pride myself on, in having the passion to be able to get up at 4 in the morning to train and then run 10 miles and go have a meeting and be in meetings for half the day and then go swim and then go back to work. So it takes passion to be able to do that. Another key concept that I want to talk about is change. In order to be the best, you have to embrace change. Change in itself is hard. We don't like to change as individuals. We like our coffee in the morning at 8 o'clock. We like our newspaper when it's there. We like things. We like routine. Routine. We all get stuck in a routine. I do it. Everybody likes it. Routine is safe. But in order to be the best, in order to know and experience life, you have to be willing to change. And change is inevitable. Change is a part of life that comes whether you accept it or not. It comes in many different forms, as you know. It comes spiritually, it comes emotionally, mentally, physically, health-wise. And the key to change is to embrace it, to know that change is not necessarily bad. In order to embrace that, it takes small steps every single day. And every single day, you make a change and work towards that change. It becomes easier and easier and easier as you're progressing through life and trying to reach that plateau or that next level in your career or in your relationships or in just personal satisfaction and goals that you have for yourself. So change is another key aspect in becoming successful and striving to be the best of the best. Man, this is harder to do on stage than I thought. I'm going to share something. When I first started, change was very difficult for me. Being up here and exposing myself like this was very difficult for me. So mentally, I had to get my mind right. When I first started my journey, I couldn't swim. I was petrified to go out there and swim in the pool. I would go out in the pool at 10 o'clock at night when I knew nobody was there, and I would go and start swimming. It's those mental roadblocks that's what ultimately held me back in my life, and it's what I needed to mentally get over. So I had to make those small steps and changes in order to overcome that, to take further steps. So it started with taking off one leg and covering up with a towel, then taking off the other leg, and before you know it, I was taking off both legs without a towel. And I made those small incremental changes in order to progress and to get to where I'm at today. Another key aspect I want to really talk about, suffering. Nobody likes to suffer. People like everything nice and easy, they want to get that, no offense, hydroxycut, it's a great product, to get ripped and take that pill and feel good and have that nice sculpted body, but they don't want to put the work in. They don't want to suffer. They don't want to, they want to avoid it. People want to avoid that suffering, and I look at life as embracing the suffering. I was born like this. This is where I was born, and in a good part of my life, I did not want to suffer. I wanted to take that easy way out. I wanted to take the easy way out, but then I wanted to suffer at the same time. And I had to make some choices. Am I going to either be half in, half out? And I decided, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to suffer. I'm going to go through the ranks, learn what I need to learn, make those choices, and change at the same time while suffering. So that's what I did. I learned to suffer, and I learned to embrace it. And as a lot of my good friends know, and people I train with and on a daily basis, they know that I love to suffer. I will put it down, and I will keep on putting it down to the point where I'm crying. And I'll explain that to you in a little later as I show the end of a different video. You'll see some of that. So suffering is an aspect of life that we all have to embrace and overcome and accept it as something positive. So just recapping on all that, you got your change, you got your suffering, and you have your passion. And then another big aspect that has to get totally in line that I feel is emotions, emotionals. Emotions drive a lot of us, from your first girlfriend in high school, stalking her outside because she broke your heart, whether she's, with that other guy or not, we've all been there, and emotions drive us to do crazy, crazy, crazy things. And emotionally, you have to be able to handle that properly when you're encountering change, when you have your passion, and when you're suffering, and emotions, like everybody knows where they were at 9/11. When I say 9/11, everybody knows exactly what they're doing at 9/11. They knew what they were doing, they know what they were eating, they know who they were talking with, they know exactly what they were, they know that day because they have an emotion attached to that day, and in order to use your emotions for the better, as ammo, in order to progress forward, you need to attach your good positive emotions to significant points in your life, and it doesn't need to be at the mountaintops. It could be right here at the very end, like right here, when I was just changing my legs. I attached a positive reinforcement emotion to changing my legs in front of a room full of strangers that I don't know. Well, I'll know you guys after this, but it's a positive emotion for me now because I've taken that and I've totally switched it around to be something positive for myself. And I'm using that as momentum to catapult me into something bigger. So you have these emotions, 9/11, and I'm going to tell you a quick side story about 9/11 and what it is 9/11, I was in Wall Street, working in Wall Street, in IT, long story, but I got caught down there in World Trade Center in Chambers Street, in the train actually, and we were derailed and we couldn't get out, and it's those moments that you really realize, like, okay, what's life really about, and it really defines a person who they are when you're in those really weird situations, emotionally, mentally, physically. We were running through the streets with the firemen and police officers. It's a long story. I don't have a lot of time to really talk about it, but I'm bringing in subjects so you can understand that emotionally you can take those and use them as positives. So, and another key topic I really want to talk about is faith, having faith. A lot of my stuff what I do is faith, is very strong in faith. I couldn't take leaps of faith without having a visionary plan of where I was going to go. I didn't know, I had to always see it, I had to always know what I was going to do. I'm an engineer by trade. I had to analyze things. I have to calculate the risk of where I'm going, and a lot of it was faith-based. I have another prop here. I'll show you guys. You guys probably maybe know what this is. If you could zoom in, this is a Nike sneaker, if you can believe it or not. This is 4 versions later. What I'm wearing right now, these legs, these are what I actually started on. This is 4 versions later. I had to make my own sneakers in order to be able to run and compete and do the things I wanted to do. 4 versions later, because I didn't have sponsors, I wasn't bound by insurance constraints, and I had to take leaps of faith in order to progress forward. I didn't know what I was doing. I just stood up late at night just making my own stuff in between my job, 2, 3 in the morning, making my own running sneakers so I can be able to run and do my races. So it takes leaps of faith to not necessarily know where you're going, but to know that you're going to be all right if you take that step in a different direction. So now you got all these concepts. You got emotions, you got passion, you got suffering, you got choice, you have faith, and now you want to put it into action. So a lot of you are at top of your game in your businesses and probably outside of that too. And so it's like, okay, well, how do I apply this all to my life? You got to put that all into action. Inspiration, you watch the videos, it's all great, but if you don't put that into action, you're just being delusional about it. And it doesn't have to be like, okay, I'm going to sign up for the first Ironman. I'm going to do an Ironman now. It starts with the first 5K. Or maybe like, okay, I want to learn how to sail. Or I want to, learn how to draw. And it's stuff like that you get passionate about, and you take some action behind it in order to progress and move forward. And I have tons of people that come up to me and say, "Oh, you're so inspiring," and "Oh my God, I have no excuses now." And I'm like, "Okay, well, what are you doing about it?" And they just look at me like, "Well, I don't know. I work 10-hour days. My back's kind of hurting. And I hear it all. And I'm like, well, what are you doing about it? Like, you don't have to go and run a marathon. When I started, I started with that sneaker. 4 versions later, I just want to do something, anything. I just got sick and tired. I wanted to do something. And I started putting the actions into place once I got everything lined up right. The emotions, passion, suffering. And once I got it all together, I started putting that all into actions. And I'm going to show you a short clip on what the actions are and where it has led me. It's not the ending of where I'm going. There's a lot more things coming, but I want to show you guys the end result of the actions and everything being put together. It's in this video. Every time I see it, Every time I see it, it gets me all teary-eyed. So what you saw is the Hawaii Ironman World Championships. That was the last skit, the finishing line, what Dr. Joe Maroon said. It took me approximately about 1.5 years to get to that level, to pinnacle of the sport, to when you first saw, when I made my first 4 versions of sneakers to be able to run with. It took a lot of hard work and dedication, took a lot of drive and determination. It took a strong team of assembling to put together to be able to execute that. It took protecting your passion, protecting your emotions, protecting your choices, taking ownership for yourself and everything, holding yourself accountable for the bad choices, for the good choices, and working hard to make them the best choices that you could possibly make. So when I got those legs, in the running legs that you saw me, I got them in January 2009. I had signed up for the Ironman Hawaii World Championships before even completing a half Ironman race. Everybody thought I was crazy nuts, but that's where the faith came into play. I knew what I could do. I knew exactly what it took to do it. I just knew I had to just go and do it. So I signed up, I got in. Everybody was like, you put the cart before the horse. What are you doing? You're crazy. I'm like, yeah, you gotta be a little crazy to do 140 miles, you know, on no legs in the lava fields. You know, that's not fun to ride a bike for 7 hours. You know, it's no fun in that, but you need that passion to be able to take it to that level. So with only 6-7 months of training, hard training, I had a great team put together, and we executed that, and that was my first Ironman ever. And I will be back again this year. I'm going back again this year, and the goal is to go faster and also do a lot more other things than just besides being an athlete. As you can see, Live Free is what I represent. That's my mantra, live free, live amazingly. We're doing clinics for challenge athletes in Orlando, first ever. And we're doing a lot of innovation in prosthetics, a lot of R&D coming in out of that. Some of the run sleeves, the run legs with the white sleeves, that's all prototype stuff in order to be able to perform at that level. I want to take all that and mainstream that for other challenge athletes to be able to benefit from that. So it's not just about being an awesome athlete and person that just want to rock out and be a rock star. It's about, you know, more than that for me, and that's the way it's always been. And it's always going to be like that, and it's never going to stop until I die. So I'd like to thank you guys for having me here. Live free, live amazingly. I want to see you guys do something awesome. Get in contact with me so I can keep you guys accountable for your actions, all right? All right, thank you.